How can a flight be great and miserable at the same time? I thought I booked the best economy seat, and I did, but everything else made this red-eye across the country a flight I couldn't wait to be over. Today I'm flying back from a long weekend in Phoenix, Arizona with the help of this awesome Waymo car. I'll be flying my first ever 767-400ER on the red-eye tonight to Atlanta, then catching 757-200 for the connection back home to Baltimore. Most of my buddies on this trip left a lot earlier in the day, so I didn't do much besides hang around. One of my red-eye rules is make sure you're tired before the flight, but I didn't exactly do a great job of that today. I got to the airport around 9 p.m. and waiting for me was the longest Sky Club line I've ever experienced. It took about 20 minutes to get in. In fact, it was so crowded that they had to tell you where to sit, but it was still a nice chance to get a drink and a bite before the flight. At about 10:30, our 767-400ER arrives from Atlanta. I like to call it the 777-100 because, from a pilot's perspective, that's what it is. The flight deck much more closely resembles the more modern 777 than it does the 767-300 or its sister class, the 757. Delta in recent years has refurbished its fleet entirely, and it now features one of the best Delta One seats in the fleet, as well as the newest in-flight entertainment that you'll also find on the A321neo. Unfortunately, our particular aircraft was in the middle of a transition from the slower paid Wi-Fi to the fast free Wi-Fi. That meant we got to settle for the secret third option, no Wi-Fi. I selected seat 41A in the mega exit row. To be honest, this is probably a better seat than in Comfort Plus. The only true upgrade I could have gotten was to first class, but that didn't materialize. We push back right on time and taxi out to runway 7 left. Our flight time tonight is 2 hours and 52 minutes. That's almost unthinkably fast for a red-eye. At best, I'll have about 2 hours of sleep if all goes right and I'm able. On the outbound flight, I accidentally left my sweatshirt on the plane and didn't bring a second. As of this video, I haven't been able to find it. That means I'm on the colder side, and my typical go-to pillow is no longer with me. We take off a little after midnight. I'm hoping to get some uninterrupted sleep. But the cabin crew begins an in-flight service, and I'm a lot colder than I initially thought I would be. Thanks to the help of a couple whiskeys in the Sky Club, I am quite a bit more tired now. But it becomes clear to me pretty early on that I won't be sleeping like I did on my last red-eye. Why? They never turned off the cabin lights. This was as dark as it got. This was my 14th red-eye flight and my 6th red-eye across the country. Never once has the cabin crew left the lights on the entire flight. With no eye mask and being freezing cold, I accept the fact that I won't be sleeping on this flight. Fortunately, the flight time is under 3 hours, so with the help of a couple New Girl episodes, the time passes and we're soon descending into Atlanta. Now on the bright side, I could not have been happier with this seat. I wasn't cramped at all, and I physically felt great. Just know that if you're sitting next to an exit, it's going to be pretty cold, and maybe double up on the sweatshirts instead of zeroing up like I did. just like that, less than 3 hours after leaving Phoenix, we're back in familiar Atlanta. Daylight savings time began yesterday, so my body clock is already a little off. Couple that with spending a weekend in 2, then 3 time zones away, remember no daylight savings in Arizona, and hopping on a Redeye flight, and I'm all out of whack. Now I'm looking forward to getting home and restoring a little bit of normal. Our connection isn't really long enough to go out of my way to the Sky Club, and I'm not that hungry, so I just make my way through the awakening terminal to my connecting gate. Waiting for me is one of my favorite aircraft, the 757, to take me home. I was actually first on the Comfort Plus upgrade list, and there were 5 open seats, but they were all middle seats. Because I have only window selected in my upgrade preferences, I stayed put. This beats a middle seat for sure. Now this was a cool surprise. Delta Sync is rolling out fleet-wide, and this aircraft must have just been to the shop. You can sync Bluetooth and personalize your in-flight entertainment screen with your own preferences, such as comedy movies or sitcoms. They move planes efficiently here in Atlanta. We're pushing back right next to our sister ship. She's going to Orlando right now. There's Colorado 1. Have you ever been on one of Southwest's state-themed planes? I flew a Nevada one back in 2020. And there's the Breast Cancer Awareness 767-400ER, one of the few special liveries Delta flies. This was your basic uneventful flight on a route that I've now flown a million times, or 10 to be exact. I dozed off for a little bit, and soon enough we're headed down into Baltimore. March weather in Baltimore has been crazy windy the last few years, and we're certainly feeling that. There wasn't much in-flight service as a result. This is one of the bumpier approaches I've ever had. I'd say that given that wind, the pilot nailed that landing. Redeye flights are never easy, per se, in economy, but this one was particularly tough because of the short flight, the temperature, and the cabin lights. For your next Redeye, make sure you come equipped with a sleeping mask and a sweatshirt. Now it's Monday morning and I have to find a way to jump right into work. My other recommendation is to leave a day to recover after a Redeye. That way you'll be less stressed about trying to sleep, and maybe therefore a little bit more successful. Despite the cabin lighting issue, I'm grateful to the crew for getting me home safe, and I'm looking forward to my next Delta flight. Maybe not so much my next Redeye flight. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to drop a like and comment, and hit that subscribe button. I have one of the coolest flights I've ever flown coming in early May, and you won't want to miss that. Till next time.